Hello students, how are you all? Myself Amit Mangtani, teaching Indian economy since 7+ years and an author with the Aryan publications also. Now over these 7 years guys, there have been so many students of mine from the eastern, northeastern India. But they are like कि सर जब आप लोगों ने इतनी अच्छी facilities दिल्ली में डेवलप की है, sir why can't you like come up with the same facilities in the eastern or the northeastern India? But because of some reasons at that point it was not possible. But now today we are coming up with IAS SHAASHTRA team at Kolkata, and here we will be delivering the best lectures with the best kind of mentors along with the best study material to you at your place, so that you don't have to come to Delhi for becoming a civil servant. You can become a civil servant from your home place too. And this is our mission of ensuring the more and more civil servants to be coming up from the eastern part of the country. Now finally, when you guys have decided to enter into the civil services, here I am to decode, to simplify at least Indian economy for you. होता क्या है कि आप लोग ना इंडियन इकोनॉमी को समझने ही नहीं पाते. आपको इंडियन इकोनॉमी से इतना डर लगता है, यू आर लाइक सर इकोनॉमी, आई एम वेरी फियरफुल ऑफ द इकोनॉमी, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट अ स्ट्रेट पाथ बिकम अ जिगजैग पाथ फॉर यू. जो चीज हम सीधी करके सीधा चल के कर सकते हैं एंड कैन बी अचीव इन द लीस्ट पॉसिबल ऑफ टाइम, बट आप लोगों को अगर स्ट्रेटेजी नहीं पता होती है, सो दैट्स व्हाई यू मूव टू अ जिगजैग पाथ. बट हियर आई एम to simplify it for you now as an online session and coming to your place in offline too. But let me talk about the Indian economy. See, first, before I simplify the Indian economy, there must be a reason, there must be a motivation for you to read Indian economy. और देखो, मोटिवेशन तो सिर्फ एक चीज से आता है कि उसकी एग्जाम में इंपॉर्टेंस क्या है. If you know the importance of this particular subject in the examination, automatically it will become clear. अरे यार, Indian economy exam के लिए इतना important है, why were we not giving that much attention? So thereby, let me give you an idea, let me give you an importance of the Indian economy. If I talk about the GS prelims overall is of 200 marks. But do you know how much or how many minimum questions can be answered from the Indian economy itself? It is minimum, I am talking about 20 questions, which corresponds to 40 marks. Which corresponds to 40 marks. This is an average marks which I have highlighted. This is I am talking about the average marks. अब आप सोचो, कट ऑफ जाता है around 80s, 90s, and out of that, if you are very good in economics, it itself, if I say itself, 20 questions can be answered very easily, provided you have covered your economy nicely. And that's why we are here. I'll be coming up, and the lectures will automatically give 90% of the questions in prelims and mains from these particular lectures only. Now, this was about the prelims, but when I talk about the mains, see, if I talk about the GS mains, which comprises of 4 papers, GS paper 1, 2, 3, 4. But आपको क्या लगता है? You think that Indian economy come under the GS paper 3 only. According to you, I feel that according to you, you are like, that's a Indian economy is a part of GS paper 3. I would say, yes, you are right. But it have direct overlapping with the other papers too. It have direct overlapping with GS 1, 2 and 3 तो directly है इसके अंदर. And let me decode this further for you. Let me decode this further. If I talk about the syllabus, जिस पे हम आएंगे, if you decode the syllabus, and accordingly try to cover the Indian economy, you will realize that certain topics is directly a part of GS paper 1 also. Like giving you an example, जैसे poverty, GS paper 1 में we also covered directly in GS paper 3 under the topic inclusive growth. Urbanization, if I talk about urbanization, it is directly there in GS paper 1, but we also cover it under GS paper 3 infrastructure में. जब हम इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पढ़ते तो वहां पे हमारा जीएस पेपर 3 में अर्बन इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर भी पढ़ते. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट द ग्लोबलाइजेशन डायरेक्टली इंटरलिंक्ड. नॉट ओनली दैट, अब जैसे यस सोसाइटी में ग्लोबलाइजेशन ऑन वेरियस फैक्टर्स होता है, जैसे ग्लोबलाइजेशन ऑन इफ आई टॉक अबाउट कल्चर, वहां पे कल्चर पे पूछा भी जाता है, बट ग्लोबलाइजेशन कैन ऑल्सो बी आस्क्ड फ्रॉम द इंटरनेशनल इकोनॉमिक इशू पर्सपेक्टिव. एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट जो टॉपिक विच हैव अ सिग्निफिकेंट ओवरलैपिंग विद GS1 इज इकोनॉमिक ज्योग्राफी. ज्योग्राफी जब आप करते हो उसमें स्पेशली इफ आई टॉक अबाउट एग्रीकल्चर, डायरेक्ट ओवरलैपिंग है GS3 से, डायरेक्ट. एंड आई एम प्रीटी श्योर, देखो गाइस कि ना एक बात मैं आपको आज क्लियरली बोल दूं, सी यू गाइस आर गोइंग टू बी सिविल सर्वेंट. And when you are going to be civil servant, you don't have to blindly trust me. You have to be objective to decide whether this particular teacher or this faculty is saying it correctly or not. And thereby, I am not trying to impose you कि यार ये मेरा opinion है. I'll tell you according to the proofs, whatever I am talking about, according to the proof. And then it's up to you to decide, because आप civil servant बनने वाले हो, हम नहीं बनने वाले. It's you who are going to take more tough decisions. अब आप यही नहीं डिसाइड कर पाओगे इकोनॉमी कैसे पढ़ना है, so how you are going to take more complicated decisions when you become a civil servant? Tell me that. So I'll tell you with the help of Mains 2023 question itself, जो Mains 2023 recently one, मैं आपको डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन दिखाऊंगा that can be answered from GS paper 3. But it's GS paper 1 तो हो गया. Sir, what about GS paper 2? Sir, what kind of overlapping GS paper 2 have? GS paper 2 में directly if you look at the syllabus again, poverty, hunger, both are covered in GS paper 3. Not only that, then there is an issue related to demographic dividend or employment, demographic dividend or skill development. Again, it is directly covered in GS paper 3. GS paper 3 में टॉपिक है issues related to employment. अब आप लोगों को कैसे पता होगा, क्योंकि आप लोग तो सिलेबस देखते नहीं हो. And if you don't watch the syllabus, let me tell you, अगर आप सिलेबस नहीं पढ़ोगे, सिलेबस को नहीं समझोगे, if you are unable to analyze the syllabus कि ये overlapping areas है, it's going to be a zigzag path for you. And I don't want you to have that zigzag path. I want you to have a straight path leading to your goal. Nothing else. Not only that, यहां पे हम बहुत सारे और टॉपिक पढ़ेंगे, जैसे सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप, माइक्रो फाइनेंस. Again, this is covered under GS paper 3. So if I talk about broadly GS paper 3 to our economy, broadly economy corresponds to 200 to 250 marks in the examination out of 100, out of 1000 marks. So out of 1000 marks, Indian economy itself comes up like 200 to 250. Can you imagine that? Now let me show you with the proof. Look at these year questions. See, I have given you this year, particular year question 2023, the latest one. This was the question of GS paper 1. Let us see what type of questions have been answered or what type of questions have been asked. Discuss the consequence of climate change on the food security in tropical countries. Discuss the consequence of climate change on the food security in tropical country. सिर्फ जोग्राफिकल एस्पेक्ट पता है क्या पूछा है कि यहां पे ट्रॉपिकल कंट्रीज, बट इफ यू नो दैट इंडिया इज अ ट्रॉपिकल कंट्री, इंडिया इज वन ऑफ द ट्रॉपिकल कंट्री और नॉट? यस. एंड एग्रीकल्चर में आई हैव डायरेक्टली कवर्ड climate change, the impact of climate change on the food security. Agriculture में directly it has been covered that what has been the impact of climate change in food security. और economic survey 2018, economic survey 2018 also covered the same aspect. So अब directly जब हम GS पेपर 3 में cover कर रहे हैं, yes, I can only say कि मैंने जो cover करवाया या generally which is covered in the GS paper 3 class, that the impact of climate change on food security in India मैंने यहां पे करवाया. I have not covered definitely tropical countries क्योंकि GS paper 3 में Indian economy है syllabus. So I have talked with respect to Indian economy. लेकिन क्या उससे आपको help नहीं मिलती? Definitely. Most of the answer could have been answered, like most of the question could have been answered like that. Let's see, why did human development fail to keep pace with economic development? This is a, I would say, traditional debate of growth versus development, which we guys cover. Growth versus development, that is directly covered in our syllabus, like or in our courses. Yes, sub because we cover the courses from an integrated perspective, so thereby this could have been easily answered. Next, if I talk about from being net food importer, India has emerged as a net food exporter. Let me tell you, it is nothing but, in other words, tell me how green revolution have impacted the food security, or how a green revolution have impacted the food production. Are you getting my point? अभी green revolution तो यार मैं आपको agriculture में कितनी बार पढ़ाता हूं? Number of times. The same thing I have covered. Number of times I have covered in my classes there. So now you tell me these three questions, wouldn't it have been easily answered? Look at the numbers: 15, 15, 30 plus 10, 40. And how much I have told you here? 50. Because this is the maximum I have told you. So 40 marks का तो directly आया GS paper 1 से. और अभी तो सोसाइटी का कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं आया, like on poverty and all, वो भी डायरेक्ट लिंक होता. Let me talk about GS paper 2. This was the two questions that were directly asked from the GS paper 3, not GS paper 3, I would say economy, which are based on economy. Like crucial aspect of development process has been the inadequate attention paid to human resource development in India. Inadequate attention paid to human resource. The human resource, like there has been inadequate attention paid to human resource. अब आप मुझे बताओ, number of times we cover our topic, that is demographic dividend or unemployment, like that. So we have covered demographic dividend or unemployment number of times, can be answered directly. The same thing, that the measures that can address this inadequacy. The same heading was also given in the classes also. Look at the another question. If skill development programs have succeeded, my whole point is the question on skill development programs. So what I'm trying to tell you here, guys, UPSC might have given you GS paper 1, GS paper 2, GS paper 3, GS paper 4. But it's up to you to understand the syllabus first of all. It's very important that you understand the syllabus, find out the overlapping areas of different papers, especially the overlapping between GS paper 2, GS paper 3 or GS paper 1 with the GS paper 3. It's very important. Here, so the first thing जो आपको motivation होना चाहिए to study economy, देखो दो motivation, एक motivation तो मैंने आपको बता दिया, UPSC. If you know that importance and you give a due weightage, due efforts, I would say, due efforts to prepare Indian economy, it is going to help you in getting you a rank. Second, बहुत ही practical बता रहा हूं, अगर Indian economy समझ ली ना, ये जो हम स्टॉक मार्केट में और जो आपकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग है ना, ये सब चीजें भी आपकी ना काम लाइफ में बहुत काम आने वाली है प्रैक्टिकल वर्ल्ड में। सबसे पहली बात ना आपको जो सीखोगे ना, आपको ये रियलाइज होगा कि भैया मैं अपनी जेब में पैसा नहीं रखूं, मेरा पैसा तो इन्वेस्टमेंट होना चाहिए, कितनी लिक्विडिटी मुझे रखनी चाहिए। तो ये सिर्फ एक एग्जाम, तो यस आई वुड से वन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट एग्जाम जिसके लिए हम लोग हैं, बट एट द सेम टाइम द पर्सनैलिटी दैट कैन हेल्प यू, दैट इज समथिंग विच कैन हेल्प यू इन प्रैक्टिकल लाइफ ऑल्सो। जैसे फॉर मी दिस इकोनॉमी हैज हेल्प, एंड लेट मी टेल यू, मेरा कोई इकोनॉमी में बैकग्राउंड नहीं, आई एम अ ग्रेजुएट फ्रॉम आईआईटी बॉम्बे, बट इट्स बिकॉज ऑफ माई पैशन and the learning like towards the economy thing, it's like I started teaching Indian economy since 7+ years. So आपको खुद नहीं पता होता कि that where something like where this particular subject can lead you to. So and I have been very fortunate that this subject have helped me, and even I have tried to understand more and more and more, and you see it resulted in writing a book. और अभी आपको मैंने बताया नहीं है, from that book itself 180 marks have been asked, 180 marks questions have been asked in GS on in mains 2023. I've taken a video of that also on YouTube. तो मोटिवेशन जितना मुझे देना था पहले आपको मैं दे चुका हूं, बट द सेकेंड थिंग as I told you regarding the syllabus, see जब आप प्रिपरेशन करना स्टार्ट करते हो, the first thing what you need is motivation. The second thing, now you have to chart your strategy. And to chart your strategy, let me tell you, to chart your strategy, you have to be very, very clear about the syllabus. आप में से 80% स्टूडेंट्स तो वो होते हैं जनरली जो सिलेबस को ना 3 महीने बाद देखते हैं. Those who don't even know कि सिलेबस में क्या है. न्यूज़पेपर पढ़े जा रहे हैं, but they don't even know how that newspaper item is linked to my syllabus. They don't even know that. अब आप मुझे एक बात बताओ कि यार मैं तो ये सोचता हूं, my very simple thinking, मैं अगर 10 मिनट भी काम कर रहा हूं तो how it is useful, how it is useful, whatever I am doing it for this minute, how it is useful, कि यार ये मेरे जो गोल है, मेरा जो एक ऑब्जेक्टिव है, उसको अचीव करने में सहायक है क्या नहीं है. और इट इज लाइक जस्ट लाइक यार किसी ने मुझे बोला और किसी ने किया. सी इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट यू बी लिटिल बिट सेल्फिश इन दिस प्रोसेस. आई एम टेलिंग यू, थोड़ा सा यहां पे सेल्फिश अपने लिए होना जरूरी है, क्योंकि होता क्या है, अगेन आई एम टेलिंग यू, देखो ये पाथ तो बहुत स्ट्रेट होता है, बट कभी किसी स्टडी मटेरियल ने आपको यहां डिस्ट्रैक्ट किया, कभी किसी की एडवाइस ने आपको यहां किया, कभी किसी ने आपको, किसी टीचर एडवाइस ने समथिंग, इट्स लाइक आपको जो स्ट्रेट पाथ होता है ना वो जिगजैग पाथ हो जाता है. आई ऑलवेज यूज दिस एनालॉजी फॉर द स्टूडेंट्स. और जिगजैग पाथ हमेशा ज्यादा टाइम लेता है देन द स्ट्रेट पाथ टू रीच अ गोल. तो सेकेंडली, वंस यू आर वेरी क्लियर कि आपको जब ये अंदर से फील आ जाए कि मेरे को इकोनॉमी में मेहनत करनी है, इवन मुझे डर लगता है, कोई बात नहीं, मेहनत करनी है ना, देन डोंट वरी, come to the office of IAS Shastra. I'll personally tell you how you can start with. Although in general, I'll be talking about in this particular video. So the first thing you should be having is getting to know the syllabus. And getting to know the syllabus is not like this. Internalize, try to come up with the listing of topics. अब देखो प्रीलिम्स, यूपीएससी ने प्रीलिम्स सिलेबस क्या दिया है? इकोनॉमिक एंड सोशल डेवलपमेंट, लिटरल लाइक सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट, पॉवर्टी, इंक्लूजन, डेमोग्राफिक्स. अरे भैया इनमें से क्वेश्चन कहां से आता है? क्वेश्चन आता है एक्सटर्नल सेक्टर से, क्वेश्चन आता है इन्फ्लेशन, क्वेश्चन आता है टैक्सेशन से. सर यहां पे लिखा क्या है? वेयर इज इट रिटन? हु विल डिकोड इट? Who will decode it? We will decode it. Don't worry. We have decoded the syllabus. जिसके beyond आपका क्वेश्चन नहीं है. At the same time, चलो प्रीलिम्स का सिलेबस तो इतना यूपीएससी ने डिटेल्ड नहीं दिया है, बट मेंस का सिलेबस इट्स वेरी डिटेल्ड. मेन सिलेबस हैज बीन वेरी डिटेल्ड, and that's a good thing. If you look at The Indian economy syllabus for the mains, it is given here. आप लोगों को तो ये जो चार्ट होता है ना, जीएस पेपर 1, 2, 3, 4, दैट शुड बी पेस्टेड इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू वेयरएवर यू स्टडी. वहां पे आप टेबल पे चिपका दो सामने अपनी और वॉल पे पेस्ट कर दो, सो दैट यू शुड बी ऑलवेज बी एबल टू सी द सिलेबस ऑफ जीएस पेपर 1, 2, 3, 4. इट्स वेरी डिटेल्ड. और जब भी आप न्यूज पढ़ते हो ना, ये देखो कि यार कुछ रिलेशन हो रहा है, देन इट्स फाइन. अदरवाइज हटाओ उसको, हटाओ. न्यूज़पेपर का टाइम यू हैव टू रिड्यूस फ्रॉम 2 आवर्स टू 1 आवर. आज तो हम न्यूज़पेपर रीडिंग की टाइम की बात नहीं करेंगे. वी आर हियर फॉर इकोनॉमी. सो कमिंग बैक हियर गाइस, अब आपने देखो प्रीलिम्स का सिलेबस देखा, मेंस का देखा, बट माय पॉइंट इज हाउ यू वुड बी कवरिंग इट थ्रू एन इंटीग्रेटेड अप्रोच. क्योंकि अब हमें तो प्रीलिम्स भी देना है, मेंस भी देना है. सो हाउ इट इज गोइंग टू बी एन इंटीग्रेटेड? I have decoded the syllabus for you in these particular topics. And let me tell you, even this is not a detailed listing. This is, I would say, broad listing of topics which I have done from understanding of prelims and main syllabus. The first part is conceptual part. Conceptual part is more about the macroeconomics and some concepts of microeconomics. This is the part from where you will be getting maximum prelims questions, maximum. And do you know what this color indicates? This color indicates that this topic is exclusive prelims. It is prelims exclusive. This topic indicates, this color indicates that these topics are prelims exclusive. तो ये जो टॉपिक्स है ना, बेसिक कंसेप्ट, नेशनल इनकम अकाउंटिंग, मनी बैंकिंग, ये सबसे एक इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट है फ्रॉम द प्रीलिम्स पर्सपेक्टिव. From the mains perspective, I would say less relevant. But when it comes to public finance and government budgeting, तब यहां पे तो आना है. Government budgeting is directly mentioned in GS paper 3. You see here. Syllabus में directly mentioned है. So इसको public finance में जिसमें हम fiscal policy देखेंगे, taxation देखेंगे and government budgeting, so there it is more integrated. At the same time, the second part is growth and development. I told you कि growth and development में we directly cover. This is one, you can say, one edict of Indian economy, where I'll be talking about Indian economy, giving you development models, planning, poverty, inclusive growth. Under inclusive growth, I will cover financial inclusion also, employment, mobilization of resources also. Again, this mobilization of resources is directly mentioned. You can see here, it's directly mentioned. Yeah. Third edict is sectors of economy. Third edict is sectors of economy. And in this sectors of economy, one very important sector, mains के लिए अगर मैं आपको बताऊं guys, this is very, and I would say most important. 4 questions have been asked only from this particular area. 4 questions in the mains I am talking about. अब आप बोलोगे सर मैं आपकी बात कैसे मान लूं? Don't worry, I'll show you the PYQ trends. कोई भी बात I am not going to tell you like कि ये मान लो. No, everything is objective. कि for this I'll be showing you the PYQs. So this is very important from the mains perspective. Then you have industry, then infrastructure. Then comes the edict for institutions. Every year the question is asked from the institutions. Every year, whether it be World Trade, Bretton Woods, Multilateral Development Bank, regulatory body, international economics issues also. And then lastly, it is social sector initiatives. The question on government schemes. Prelims 2023 में 2 क्वेश्चन है government schemes के. Report indices, national policies, important legislations also. So some initiatives, social sector initiatives. Here, this is how our syllabus of economy will be covered with IAS SHAASHTRA. Here, an integrated approach of prelims and mains. But the another thing is, see, if you guys need to know कि सर जैसे नेशनल इनकम अकाउंटिंग में कैन यू गिव अस अ डिटेल्ड लिस्टिंग ऑफ टॉपिक्स, कि अगर मैं आपको बोलूं नेशनल इनकम अकाउंटिंग में देयर आर 25 टॉपिक्स, कैन यू टेल अस? यस. So we have made a detailed listing of topics. We have made a detailed listing, I would say, which is also known as micro listing of each particular broad area too. Now, how can you access that? For that, you have to fill the form which is given on the description link, or you can visit to our office, that is IAS Shastra office on at Kolkata. Here, so आप या तो ऑफिस से कलेक्ट कर लो, or you can fill the form which is given on the description link. Now, third thing is, see, now once you have charted your approach, once you are able to know the syllabus also, कि चलो सर अब तो हमें syllabus पता है, पढ़ना start करते हैं, let us start reading. But you have to stop. See, आप लोग जैसे अपनी कुछ गलतियां करते होंगे तो गलतियों से कुछ सीखते हो ना, because history always make us learn. Always, आप हिस्ट्री जो भी आपकी रहती है, even our India's history, we always learn from them. Always, guys. So what happened, which I want, what point I want to tell you. Now, when we start, the third thing is, when we start preparing, when we start reading this Indian economy, we should know what type of questions are asked. हमें पता होने चाहिए क्या prelims में, mains में, what type of questions can be asked. Because अगर मेरे को टॉपिक ही नहीं पता होगा कि कैसे पूछ सकते हैं, मैं क्या पढ़ूंगा, मतलब व्हाट आई स्टडी, मैं क्या रीड करूंगा, क्या समझने की कोशिश करूंगा, आई विल नॉट गेट दैट. मुझे पता ही नहीं चलेगा. और जब मुझे पता ही नहीं चलेगा कि यार मैं जो पढ़ रहा हूं, मैं सही पढ़ रहा हूं, गलत पढ़ रहा हूं, सो मेरी प्रिपरेशन, हाउ विल आई नो दैट माई प्रिपरेशन इज इन लाइन विद द प्रिपरेशन दैट इज रिक्वायर्ड. एंड रीजनल सेंटर्स में, लेट मी टेल यू गाइस, जनरली यही एक मेजर इशू रहता है. जनरली ये मेजर इशू रहता है कि एक स्टूडेंट मोर ऑफ कंफ्यूज्ड थोड़ा सा ज्यादा रहता है. दे लैक द ऑफलाइन मेंटरशिप. ऑनलाइन मेंटरशिप इज देयर, डेफिनेटली देयर इज नो डाउट अबाउट दैट, बट इफ आई टॉक अबाउट द ऑफलाइन मेंटरशिप, इट्स नॉट देयर. And because of which, with IAS Shastra guys, we'll be providing you the free mentorship. You are very free. You are most welcome to visit to our office. Get the guidance, get your all doubts clear. Don't worry at all. Because once when we were not there, तो आप लोग हमें कॉल तो बहुत किया करते थे, ऑनलाइन मेंटरिंग भी हमने बहुत की. But now you guys have a chance to meet the bureaucrats, to meet the faculties from the Delhi, to meet the mentors also. It's very important that up now you have a very golden chance of asking the doubts from the mentors itself, the Delhi faculties itself. Here, so thereby the first thing, if you look at, he said prelims analysis, even including 2013, you can see here the questions, the average questions. Can you see one thing which I have told you? कि prelims में economy से कम 20 क्वेश्चन आएंगे. Yes, I think except if you remove this year 2021, otherwise in every year, total how many questions have been asked from the economy? Minimum 20. Minimum 20. You got that? So thereby, when I made the conclusion there, when I made my observation there, it was not just behind कि यार economy से 20 आते हैं. It is based upon evidence, और इतना clear evidence that okay, even I have bifurcated the topics like even I have bifurcated the topics, and according to that हर एक topic से क्या-क्या question आए. So even I have done that for you. Now, if I give you an analysis that what type of questions is being asked, let me make you an analysis. Give you an analysis from our PYQs. First, one thing, you realize that minimum 20 questions. Second thing, there are mainly 4 type of questions being asked. There are mainly 4 type of questions being asked. First, there are mainly 4 type of questions being asked. First is knowledge based, which is more of, I would say, conceptual also, that whether you are aware of particular concept. So that is, one is knowledge based. Second is ट्रेंड बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस, आई विल शो यू विद द हेल्प ऑफ क्वेश्चंस आल्सो कि ट्रेंड्स आते हैं स्पेशली इकोनॉमी में. इवन इन 2023 इफ यू सी, एक क्वेश्चन आया था ना, इंडिया हैज द लार्जेस्ट प्रपोर्शन ऑफ इरिगेटेड एरिया, यस और नो, विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू चाइना. आपने अगर क्वेश्चन देखा होगा तो ये क्या है, ये ट्रेंड बेस्ड है. इट इज नॉट अ कंसेप्ट बेस्ड क्वेश्चन. कंसेप्ट बेस्ड होता है ना कि इरिगेशन के बारे में पूछे, इट्स नॉट अबाउट दैट. इट्स अ ट्रेंड बेस्ड क्वेश्चन विच इज आस्किंग कि भैया इंडिया में जो इरिगेशन कवरेज है वो चाइना के कंपेयर में है क्या नहीं है, ज्यादा है क्या नहीं है. दिस इज नोन एज ट्रेंड बेस्ड विच रिक्वायर्स अ गुड नॉलेज. थर्ड, here comes a very another important question, type of question known as analytical based question, which requires a good aptitude also. Which requires a good aptitude also. Now, my point of analytical, see what type of analytical. जैसे मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल दूं, इन्फ्लेशन की बात करते हैं. अगर इन्फ्लेशन पे क्वेश्चन आया था कंसेप्ट या अबाउट सीपीआई, अबाउट CPI is consumer price index, और about WPI about wholesale price index, काफी न्यूज में है, so I'm pretty sure आप लोग भी जानते होंगे. When the question is on that part, तब आ गया आपका conceptual knowledge based question. But जब आपसे पूछे that which of the following measures can help in reducing inflation, or what would be the impact of Reserve Bank increasing the interest rate on the inflation, this is known as analytical. You have to apply your mind. You have to apply your mind. That requires an aptitude. Or I would say the prerequisite of getting the analytical question right is a sound conceptual understanding. If you have a sound conceptual understanding, you can answer such question. And then fourth is current based questions, that is based on current topics. Current based questions. Let me show you. See, अब जब दिखाऊंगा ना questions, तब आपको ज्यादा अच्छा पता चलेगा. Just look at this question which was asked in prelims 2023. That consider the following factors: demographic performance, forest and ecology, governance reforms, stable government, tax and fiscal efforts. Now it says for the horizontal tax devolution, the 15th Finance Commission used how many of the above as criteria other than population, area and income distance. अब इसके लिए आपको 15th Finance Commission का devolution criteria पता होना चाहिए. If you have the knowledge, you can answer this very easily. Directly answered from my classes, don't worry, ये बहुत easy question है, इसमें कोई दिमाग आपका भी नहीं लगना. But my point is, if you have the knowledge, you can answer this. This is known as knowledge based question. Knowledge based question. Second, if I talk about, look at this question, guys. This is known as analytical based questions. Analytical based questions. That if the inflation is too high, RBI is likely to buy government security. See, आप में से जो इकोनॉमी पहली बार देख रहे हैं, शायद उनके लिए थोड़ा सा ये ना इशू हो सकता है, बट जिन्होंने एग्जाम दे रखा है, दे माइट बी यार ये तो एनालिटिकल बेस्ड क्वेश्चन है, इट इज नॉट इजी टू आंसर दैट, बट वंस यू हैव अ वेरी गुड कंसेप्चुअल अंडरस्टैंडिंग, यू कैन आंसर सच क्वेश्चंस. आई ऑलवेज रिकमेंड, स्टूडेंट मुझसे पूछते हैं कि सर इकोनॉमी की प्रीलिम्स के लिए कौन सी बुक पढ़े. आई ऑलवेज से कि कोई बुक ही नहीं है ना, बुक से आप समझ भी पाओगे. देयर आर 3 सब्जेक्ट्स आई वुड से मिनिमम जिसमें आपको टीचर की जरूरत पड़नी ही पड़नी है, इवन द आई वुड से मोस्ट इंटेलेक्चुअल पर्सन ऑल्सो. इकोनॉमी, साइंस टेक, ज्योग्राफी. Because these 3 requires a good conceptual understanding, which is pretty difficult when you read it from the, like when you read it from the book. Book is not possible to give you that conceptual understanding. कम से कम ये 3. उसके अलावा पॉलिटी ऑल्सो, जिसमें आप सोचो ना, जैसे अगर मैं मेंस की बात करूं तो एथिक्स में, अब जब तक आप बुक से पढ़ तो लिया, लेकिन इफ यू आर अनेबल टू इंटरनलाइज दैट फील, How will you like understand the concept? नहीं, वो तो सिर्फ आपने पढ़ा है. Clear? So my whole point, the second type of question is analytical, which requires a good conceptual understanding. Third, current based question. ये देखो, in the post pandemic recent past, this was 2023 question, many central banks worldwide had carried out interest rate hikes. And you should know, yes, it has happened. Even this is covered in the economic survey. We have taken it in our economic survey classes also. So my whole point, what I'm trying to make here is that in the post-pandemic recent past, many central banks worldwide had carried out interest rate hikes. तो पहले तो आपको पता होना चाहिए करंट बेस. अगर आपको यही नहीं पता कि इंटरेस्ट रेट हाइक किया है, हाउ विल यू गो टू द स्टेटमेंट टू? यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू गो टू द स्टेटमेंट टू. सो है ना करंट बेस्ड इकोनॉमी, इसीलिए बोलते हैं करंट जरूरी है. तभी आप बोलते हैं यू शुड बी ऑब्जर्वेंट. You should be an observant. You should observe what's happening around your surroundings. And when you, like, more than the surroundings, talk about your society, know about your country. It's very important. As a civil servant, it's very important. तो इसको ना current based बोलने की जगह ना, do you know what is this called? What it should be called? कि जो observations है ना, person should be observant. That is what the quality being asked by the, or being required by the UPSC from a civil servant. कि भैया एक बंदा ऑब्जर्वेंट है, उस ऑब्जर्वेंट को चेक करने के लिए सराउंडिंग की जो करंट अफेयर्स है बेसिक, वो पूछे जाते हैं. So that is third, current based. Let me show you fourth. Look at this. Look at the second, dated securities issued at market related rates and auctions from a large component. है ना, ये भी trend based. So if analysis से, see, I don't know how much you get the idea from this analysis, but we definitely get it a lot, and that is what being covered in the classes also. Because even in my classes, I always try to ensure that a student don't just get a conceptual knowledge, he should have that understanding that even if I ask any other type of question related to that, वो आंसर कर दे, वो आंसर कर दे. And along with that, I dictate the trends, the recent trends related to that particular topic. Current तो automatically cover हो ही जाता है, but trends, it's very important. So ये जो PYQ analysis है ना, you should also be able to understand that, okay, I have to come up with the economy or I have to read the economy in this manner. ऐसा नहीं मैं पढ़ते गया, लेकिन when it comes to the exam relevancy, no point. No point. कोई 1000 पन्ने भी कोई काम के नहीं when it comes to the exam relevancy. So this is something from the prelims PYQ analysis which I wanted to talk about. From the mains, look at first of all the questions. Here I have written the questions and dividing the topic which I have covered: growth and development, issues related to employment, government budgeting, agriculture, industry, all those which I have told you. Clear? Now, if I talk about the mains analysis, from the PYQ mains analysis, two things I like to tell you. The highest weightage from your efforts in the mains should be given to agriculture. Should be given to you, should be given to agriculture. If I talk about GS paper 3 only, in GS paper 3 itself, out of 8 to 9 questions, 4 questions have been asked from the agriculture only. Can you imagine 4 questions? आप ये सोचो, मतलब टोटल इकोनॉमी का 50%, I would say not 50 but 40, take that 40% of the questions in the GS paper 3 from the agriculture. So can you imagine that? 40, not GS paper 3, economy ke. So thereby a good amount of importance should be given to the agriculture. Second, this is something again which I have not told in prelims, but even this applies to the prelims also. PYQ practice is must. PYQ practice is must. Guys, PYQ practice is must. It's must to have PYQ practice. Do you know why I'm saying that PYQ practice? There are direct questions being asked on the repeated themes. If I talk about the direct questions, there's a direct questions, one, and then second is repeated themes. There's a direct questions, and then second is repeated themes. So direct questions, even in prelims, this was the case. Even in prelims, guys, direct question 2015 में वही 2016 में, 2021 में वही question 2020 का था, 2022 में the same question that was asked in 2013. So PYQ practice is very, very important. It is important because one question, let me tell you, either in prelims and in mains is directly asked from the PYQ. And second, 2 to 3 thematic based question. Thematic means from the particular theme will be asked from the PYQs. 2 to 3 questions in both mains and in both prelims also. चलो मेंस का एग्जांपल देखो मैं लेकर आया हूं. Let me show you the mains. Look at this question number 1 and 2. Look at this question number 1 and 2. The question is that simply the theme, the common theme is inclusive growth and sustainable development. This was asked in 2022. But let's look at the question number 2. Again, you would say that the strategy of inclusive growth is intended to meet the objectives of inclusiveness and sustainability together. So isn't it a common theme asked in 2019-20? Look at this cropping pattern, these three. The question, this was a 2023 question. Changes in cropping pattern in the context of changes in consumption pattern and marketing condition. Here, next, major factors responsible for making rice wheat system a success. Again, this is nothing, but this is like, again, a question on cropping pattern. Third, also you see how the emphasis on certain crops brought about changes in cropping pattern. All these three have a common theme known as cropping pattern. Then you look at the another two questions. Both are common themes with respect to APMC, that is marketing of agricultural produce. Clear? So once you realize that, okay, after doing a PYQ, you also realize that, okay, how you should be covering Indian economy, how you should be studying. But the next question that comes to your mind is sources. Sir, what sources to follow? What sources to follow? Let me tell you guys honestly. Honestly, let me give a very blunt and the honest thing here. It is difficult without the classes. Difficult. It is extremely difficult, I'll use that word, extremely difficult to understand economy without the classes. You will not be able to understand from any book, either the book which I have written to, you will not be able to understand the concept. So what you need to do is the classes play a very important role in the economics. Very important. But before the classes, what you can do is you can read only one book. There's only one book which I'll recommend. All the other books are, I would say, no use to you. One book that you should read even before starting the classes is Indian Economic Development, Class 11th NCERT. Indian Economic Development, Class 11th NCERT. Are you getting my point? Indian Economic Development, Class 11th NCERT, that should be covered. That should be covered. Okay? Why? Because it will give you a good overview of the Indian economy. एक overview मिल जाएगा, एक decent सा, how Indian economy has evolved, the concept of poverty and inequality, all these things. Now you will think, sir, इसमें से understanding तो clear होगी, but क्या question आता है इससे? Question आता है इससे? Yes. Every year I would say, in general, not every year, but in general, in a year, minimum one question is asked. Look at this particular question. It was asked in 2018. It can be easily answered if you have a good understanding, if you have a good, if you have studied the NCERT nicely. If you have studied the NCERT nicely, you can cover this very easily. So the first thing is, that is class 11th NCERT. Then after this, see, you might not be, I would suggest कि मैं बोल दूं आपको कि class 12th macro पढ़ लो, but I know it's difficult for most of the students. Class 12th macro. Then you are like कि sir micro पढ़ना है? No, complete no. You don't have to cover micro. Even macro के लिए आपको मैं बता रहा हूं, macro पढ़ के I don't know कि कितने स्टूडेंट समझ पाएंगे, बट यहीं पे क्लासेस का रूल आता है. Then coming the next thing is, if you need, अगर आपने जैसे आपकी तैयारी हो चुकी है, इकोनॉमी पढ़ चुके हैं, you need the mains kind of a content, then that is written by me. This is a book published by me, that is 250 plus Q&A for Indian economy, out of which 200 is solved, 50 are unsolved for you. Clear? So what you can do is, it is the covering chapter wise, the syllabus which I have shown you, the main syllabus, it covers chapter wise and topic wise questions from that particular area. Go through the content, you will realize that okay, very nicely all the topics have been covered here. But this will only be useful for the mains. It will not be useful for giving you the I would say the concepts which is required from the prelims. Now the last thing, again मैं बार बार पूछोगे मुझसे, even when I'll be coming to Kolkata, you will be like कि सर मुझे बता दो sources. अरे भैया मैंने बता दिया sources, नहीं तो मैं आपको कुछ special source थोड़ी नहीं बता दूंगा कि आप ऑफलाइन बोलोगे सर कुछ और special source बता दो. This is one source which I wanted, which I tell you. Then the another thing is newspaper. The last thing is newspaper. See, it's very important that you have a detailed listing of topics. जैसी आपकी detailed listing of topics आपके पास होती है, the topic list which I have shown you, उसकी भी detailed listing की हर एक chapter के अंदर क्या क्या पढ़ना है, you will realize अच्छा ये topics होते हैं. Then it would be very easy to understand, okay, newspaper में ये important है, newspaper में ये important. It would be very easy for you then. And how can you get the detailed listing of topics? Fill the Google form which is given in the description link. You will be sent there, you will be given the detailed micro listing. Here, वो आपको मिल जाएगी. So this is about the economy strategy, how you can go ahead. I hope you have enjoyed, and I'm pretty sure many myths which were there with respect to economy must have been busted. Clear? और अगर आपको strategy बनाना है, so it is like the first thing is you have to have a syllabus. For that, fill the form. If I tell you in summarized, that in a summarized form, first is you should have a detailed listing of topics with you. Detailed listing of topics with you. Here for the economy. And how can you get a detailed listing of topic? Fill the Google form. Fill the Google form. Clear? Second, or visit to the office. Visit to the IAS SHAASHTRA office. Clear? That is one. Second, once you are done with the syllabus thing, just go through the PYQ questions, both prelims and mains. Both prelims and mains. See, why I want it is, although the analysis would be same, but it's very important that once you go through, ना, जब आपको पता चलेगा कि आप जब go through करते हो ना, तो you will have your own understanding being developed. And इसमें आपकी understanding होना ही बहुत जरूरी है. Clear? Third, read the NCERT of class 11th. Clear? Which will give you an idea about the Indian economy. Fourth is economy classes. Now this is economy classes which will be your one-stop solution. But this economy classes, there you have to make notes of yours. Here, make the notes which will be the notes for you till the mains. And then lastly, fifth is practice both MCQs and answer writing. Clear? So I hope these are very simple thing. Very simple thing. These things can be done by you. You can finish it here. Then once we start the economy classes, you should join that. So we have a good conceptual understanding. Clear? I hope there is no doubt. So that's it all. Very soon I'm going to come Kolkata. So till then guys, thank you. Bhalo thakben. Thank you students.